The cargo ship Distant Star hummed through empty space, carrying goods between planets that most people would never visit. Lihana wiped sweat from her forehead as she stirred a large pot in the kitchen. The metal walls around her were old and scratched, but she kept her workspace clean. This was her home now, even if it was far from Earth. She had been working on the ship for 8 months. The pay was not great, but it was enough to send money back to her younger brother Tae-young. He was studying at university and their parents were gone. Someone had to take care of him. So Hana cooked meals for a crew of aliens who barely looked at her when she served their food. Most of the crew were tall, strong species with scales or fur or extra arms. Humans were rare in space. Many aliens thought humans were weak and boring. Hana tried not to care. She had a job to do. The ship's speaker crackled above her head. All crew to the cargo bay. We have special cargo coming aboard. Hana turned off the stove and hurried to the cargo bay. The other crew members were already there, standing far back from the loading doors. Their faces showed fear. Even the captain looked nervous, and he was a Thexian who usually acted tough. Through the window, Hana watched a massive metal container float toward the ship. It was covered in warning symbols. Red lights blinked all over it. Armed guards in heavy armor guided it inside. "What is that?" Hana whispered to Yuna, another human who worked with the cargo systems. "Trouble," Yuna whispered back. "That's a prisoner transport container. Maximum security." The container locked into place with a loud clang. The guards checked their weapons and then left quickly, as if they could not wait to get away. The captain spoke to the crew in a serious voice. "We are transporting a prisoner to Tartarus 9. The containment unit is secure. Nobody goes near it. Nobody talks to it. We deliver it in 2 weeks and collect our payment." "Understood?" Everyone nodded. Hana noticed that First Officer Kor, a large Thexian with purple scales, was staring at the container with disgust. "What kind of prisoner?" someone asked. "A Krythi," the captain said quietly. The crew gasped. Hana had heard of the Kryth. Everyone had. They were the galaxy's most feared warriors. 7 feet tall, covered in red scales with 4 arms and claws that could cut through metal. They had been fighting the Galactic Council for 300 years. Nobody had ever tamed one. "Why are we transporting it?" Yuna asked. "Because the pay is triple our usual rate," the captain said. "The prisoner was injured during capture. It will stay in the container the whole trip. An automated system will feed it. Nobody has to do anything." But 2 days later, the captain called Hana to his office. "The feeding system is broken," he said. "Someone has to deliver the nutrient packs manually, through the slot. You will do it." "Me?" Hana's heart raced. "Why me?" "Because you are the least important crew member," Kor said from behind the captain. "If something goes wrong, we lose a cook. We can manage without a cook." Hana wanted to argue, but she needed this job. She needed the money for Tae-yang. So she nodded and took the nutrient packs. The cargo bay was dark when she approached the container. She could hear something moving inside. Her hands shook as she opened the feeding slot. The nutrient packs were small bars that looked like brown clay.
She pushed them through the slot and stepped back quickly. A deep voice came from inside the container.
It spoke in Galactic Common, the language everyone used in space. "This is not food." Hana froze. The prisoner was speaking to her. "This will not keep me alive," the voice continued. It sounded tired and angry. "This is made for plant eaters. I am a carnivore." Hana knew she should walk away, but something made her move closer to the container. "I am sorry," she said quietly. "This is what they gave me." Silence. Then the voice spoke again, softer this time. "You are human?" "Yes." "I have never met a human before." "You are very small." Hana almost smiled. "Everyone in space said that." "Yes, we are small. Go away, small human. Let me die in peace." Hana looked at the nutrient packs in her hand. She thought about what the captain had said. The prisoner was injured. These packs would not help. The Kryth would die slowly. That night, Hana could not sleep. She kept thinking about the voice from the container. Tired, resigned to death, she thought about Tae-young, alone on Earth. She thought about how it felt to be far from home, surrounded by people who did not care if you lived or died. The next day, she made a decision that would change everything. She took meat from the emergency food supplies, real meat frozen and stored for the human crew members. She cooked it simply, the way her mother had taught her. Then she wrapped it carefully and brought it to the cargo bay. The container was silent when she arrived. She opened the feeding slot and pushed the package through. "What is this?" the voice asked. "Food," Hana said. "Real food, meat." Long silence. "Then why?" Hana did not know how to explain. "Because you are hungry. Because nobody should die slowly from starvation. Because it is the right thing to do." She left before the prisoner could respond. But as she walked away, she heard something that sounded like claws scraping against metal. Not angry. Something else. Something that might have been surprised the next day the package was gone. Hana brought more food, and the day after that. On the third day, she sat down outside the container during her break. She was tired from working long hours. She leaned against the wall and closed her eyes. "You came back," the voice said. "Yes. You could be punished for wasting food on me." "Maybe. Why do you do this?" Hana thought about it. "Where I come from, we believe in treating others with kindness. Even if they are different from us, even if they are supposed to be our enemies. The galaxy does not work that way." "I know," Hana said, "but maybe it should." She heard movement inside the container. Then the voice spoke again, and this time it sounded different. Less hard, more curious. "What is your name, small human?" "Hana, what is yours?" "I am Vexthar. I was a warrior of the Kryth Third Fleet." "Was? I am a prisoner now. Soon I will be dead. Not if I can help it," Hana said quietly. Vexthar made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You are strange, Hana. Tell me about your world." So she did. She told him about Earth, about blue skies and oceans, about her brother and her parents who had died when she was young. She told him about cooking, about how food could bring people together, and Vexithar listened. For the first time in a long time, someone treated him like a person instead of a monster. Something changed in that dark cargo bay. A connection formed between two beings who had both learned what it meant to be seen as less than others. Neither of them knew it yet, but this small act of kindness would reshape both their futures. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the strongest bonds are formed not through power or force, but through the simple act of sharing a meal. Days passed, and Hana's visits to the cargo bay became a routine. Every morning she brought fresh food for Vexthar. Every evening she sat outside his container and they talked. The other crew members did not know what she was doing. She was careful to visit when most of them were busy or sleeping. Vexthar's voice grew stronger as the days went by. The real food was helping him heal. He told Hana stories about his home world, a planet with 2 suns and purple forests. He described cities built into mountains and oceans that glowed at night. "It sounds beautiful," Hana said. "It was," Vexthar replied. His voice turned sad. "The Galactic Council wanted the minerals under our mountains. They said our planet had strategic value. They came with warships and told us to leave." Hana felt her chest tighten. "What did you do?" "We refused. It was our home. Our ancestors were buried in those mountains. So they attacked." He paused. "I was defending the colony where my family lived. My mate, my 2 younglings. I held the enemy back so the children could escape to the underground shelters. But I was too late to save my own." "I am so sorry," Hana whispered. "The council forces killed them in the first bombardment. I fought until I could not fight anymore. When they captured me, I wanted to die. I tried to die. But they kept me alive to make an example of me. A dangerous Kryth warrior, defeated and caged." Hana pressed her hand against the cold metal of the container. She wished she could do more than just talk. "You are not defeated. You are still here. You are still fighting by staying alive." "Perhaps," Vexithar said. "Tell me about your family, Hana." So she shared her story. Her parents had died in an accident when she was 19. Her brother Taeyang was only 14 then. Hana had to drop out of university to work. She took any job she could find. Eventually she found work on cargo ships because the pay was better than anything on Earth. "I send most of my money to Taeyang," she explained. "He is smart. Smarter than me. He deserves to finish his education and have a good life." "You sacrifice yourself for him," Vexthar said. "He is my family. It is what family does. The Kryth understand this. We call it Niratok. It is a sacred bond. When someone shows you true kindness without wanting anything back, you are bound to them. You become their protector, their family by choice." "That sounds nice," Hana said. "You have given me Niratok, Hana. You feed me when you could be punished. You talk to me when everyone else sees me as a monster. You treat me with respect. This creates a bond that cannot be broken. Hana did not fully understand, but she felt warm inside. You are not a monster to me, Vexthar. You are my friend. The word seemed to surprise him. He was quiet for a long moment. I have not had a friend in a very long time. Their conversations continued. Vexthar taught Hana words in the Kretha language. She taught him phrases in Korean, her native language from Earth. They laughed together when she tried to pronounce the growling Kraith sounds and failed. But their peace did not last. On the 8th day of the journey, First Officer Kor was doing an inventory check in the cargo bay. He noticed that some of the emergency meat supplies were missing. He checked the records and saw that Hana's access card had been used. That evening, Kor confronted her in the mess hall. All the other crew members were there, eating their dinner. He grabbed the plate from her hands and threw it on the floor. You have been stealing supplies, he announced loudly. Hana's face went red. Everyone was staring at her. I was not stealing. I was feeding the prisoner, Kor interrupted. Wasting valuable resources on that creature. Do you know how much those supplies cost? He was dying, Hana said, trying to keep her voice steady. The nutrient packs are not right for his biology. I was just breaking protocol, Kor said. Just putting your feelings above the needs of this ship. Humans are so emotional, so stupid. This is why your species will never be respected in the galaxy. Some of the crew members laughed. Others looked away, uncomfortable but not willing to defend her. Hana felt tears burning in her eyes, but she refused to cry in front of them. I will dock your pay for the wasted supplies, Kor said, and you will not go near that container again. If you disobey, I will have you locked in your quarters for the rest of the journey. Understood? Hana nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She left the mess hall as quickly as she could. She went to her small cabin and sat on her bed. Then the tears came, not just because of the humiliation, but because she would not be able to help Vexthar anymore. He would go back to starving on those useless nutrient packs. She did not know that Vexthar had heard everything. The container had audio sensors that fed to the ship's security system. He heard Kor humiliate Hana. He heard the crew laugh at her. And he felt something he had not felt in years. Rage. Not the battle rage of a warrior, but the protective fury of someone whose family had been hurt. That night, Hana snuck out of her cabin. She knew she could be punished, but she did not care. She had to see Vexthar one more time. She made her way to the cargo bay in the dark. I am sorry, she said to the container. I cannot bring you food anymore. They caught me, I heard, Vexthar said. His voice was different now, harder, angrier. They hurt you because of me. It is okay. I made my choice. No, it is not okay. She heard him move closer to the container wall. Hana, listen to me. I am going to make you a promise. If I ever get free from this prison, I will find you. I will repay this debt. You have shown me kindness when no one else would. You have treated me with honor. This creates Niratok. Do you understand? You are under my protection now, always, but you cannot— I will, Vexthar said firmly. Kraith do not break their promises. Remember this, small one. Whatever happens, wherever you go, I will find you. You are not alone anymore. You have a brother now, a brother who will protect you. Hana felt tears on her cheeks again, but these were different tears. Thank you, she whispered. She stayed with him for another hour, talking quietly. She told him about Tai Yang's latest message from Earth. He told her about Kraith festivals and their warrior codes. When she finally left, she felt different, stronger somehow. The next days were hard. Kor watched her constantly. She was not allowed near the cargo bay. She used her own meal portions to stay alive since they had docked her pay. She grew thinner. The other crew members ignored her except for Yuna and Jiho, who sometimes shared their food with her in secret. But Hana survived. She kept working. She kept sending what little money she could to Taeyang, and she thought about Vexthar's promise. She did not know if she would ever see him again. The prison world Tartarus 9 was one of the most secure facilities in the galaxy. Nobody escaped from there. But somehow his words gave her hope. She had a friend, a brother, someone who saw her as more than just a weak human, and that meant everything. The distant star arrived at Tartarus 9 on schedule. The planet looked dead from space, wrapped in constant storms of purple lightning. It was the kind of place where hope went to die. Hana stood at a viewing window, watching the prison facility grow larger as they approached. She had not spoken to Vexthar in days. Kor had made sure of that, but she thought about him constantly. She wondered if they would ever meet again. Deep down, she knew the answer. Nobody escaped from Tartarus 9. The ship docked with the prison station. Guards in heavy armor came aboard and started the transfer process. Hana watched from a distance as they moved the containment unit. Through a small window in the metal, she saw movement. Vexthar knew she was there. She wanted to run to the container. She wanted to say goodbye, but Kor was watching her with cold eyes. If she tried anything, he would lock her up. So she just stood there, her hand pressed against her chest, feeling her heart break a little. The guards took the container away. The captain collected his payment. The distant star prepared to leave. Just another job finished. Just another prisoner delivered. But Hana could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. 2 hours after they left the prison station, the ship's alarms started screaming. Red lights flashed in every corridor. The captain's voice came over the speakers, shaking with fear. All crew to emergency stations.
We are under attack.
Repeat, we are under attack. Hana ran from the kitchen toward the crew quarters. She could hear explosions somewhere in the ship. The lights flickered. She saw other crew members running in panic. Yuna grabbed her arm as she passed. Pirates! Yuna shouted over the noise. Velkan raiders. They must have been hiding in the storm. The two women ran together toward the emergency shelter, but before they could reach it, a section of the wall exploded inward. Smoke filled the corridor. Through it came figures in black armor carrying weapons that glowed with blue energy. The pirates moved through the ship like they had done this 1,000 times before. They were not interested in the cargo. They went straight for the crew. Hana saw them dragging crew members toward their ship. She tried to run, but someone grabbed her from behind. "Let me go!" she screamed, fighting as hard as she could. The pirate laughed. His voice came through his helmet, distorted and cruel. "We got a human, good. Humans sell well." Hana's blood turned cold. She had heard stories about the Velkan raiders. They kidnapped people and sold them to the highest bidder. Some went to labor camps. Some went to worse places. Nobody who was taken by the Velkan was ever seen again. She was dragged through the corridor with Yuna and Jiho, who had also been captured. The 3 humans were thrown into a holding area on the pirate ship. Around them were other crew members from the distant star, all looking terrified. But the captain was not there. Neither was Kor. "Where are the officers?" Jiho asked one of the other prisoners. "They made a deal," a Quillen engineer said bitterly. "The pirates came through the command deck first. The captain and Kor gave them information about the crew, told them which species would sell for the most money. They traded us for their freedom." Hana felt sick. "They sold us?" "Humans, mostly," the engineer continued. "Kor told them that humans are valued in certain markets. Something about your endurance, your ability to survive in harsh conditions. You 3 are the reason the pirates attacked." Yuna started crying. Jiho's hands were shaking. Hana just felt numb. Kor had hated her for feeding Vexthar. Now he had sentenced her to a fate worse than death. The pirates sealed the holding area and their ship detached from the distant star. Through a small window, Hana watched the cargo ship drift away, damaged but still intact. The captain and Kor had survived. They would probably report that everyone else had been killed. Nobody would come looking for slaves. The journey to the pirate base took 3 days. The prisoners were given minimal food and water. The holding cell was cramped and cold. Some of the prisoners cried. Others sat in silence, already giving up hope. But Hana refused to give up. She thought about Tai Yang. If she died here, who would take care of him? Who would send him money? She thought about her parents and the strength they had shown when times were hard. And she thought about Vexthar. He had promised to find her, to protect her, but he was locked in the most secure prison in the galaxy. There was no way he could help her now. Still, the memory of his promise gave her strength. She had to survive. She had to believe that somehow things would get better. The pirate base was built inside a massive asteroid in the Zeta sector. This was lawless space where the Galactic Council had no power. The pirates brought their prisoners into a processing center. It looked like a warehouse with cages lining the walls and auction platforms in the center. Hana, Yuna, and Jiho were put in a cage together. Around them were dozens of other prisoners from different species, all captured from different raids. Some had been here for weeks, waiting to be sold. An old Thexian in the next cage looked at them with sad eyes. "Humans," he said. "You will probably be sold quickly. Labor colonies pay well for your kind. You are lucky. Some of us will be sent to worse places. Lucky, Una said with a bitter laugh. We are prisoners. We will be slaves.
How is that lucky?
The old Thexian did not answer. He had been here too long. Hope had left him. That night, Hana lay on the cold floor of the cage. Una and Jiho were sleeping, exhausted from fear and stress. But Hana could not sleep. She stared at the ceiling of the asteroid base and whispered into the darkness. Vexthar, I know you cannot hear me. I know you are far away. But I want you to know that I am trying to be strong. I am trying to survive. Like you said, if we never meet again, thank you for being my friend. Thank you for making me feel like I mattered. A tear rolled down her cheek. She wiped it away quickly. She could not afford to be weak. Not now. The next morning, a pirate came to their cage. He looked at the three humans with cold calculation. These three go to the auction block tomorrow, he told his companion. Clean them up. Make them look presentable. Healthy humans sell for twice the price. Tomorrow, Hana had 1 day left before she would be sold like an animal. 1 day before everything she had worked for, everything she had hoped for would be taken away. She closed her eyes and thought of Earth, of blue skies and her mother's cooking, of Taeyang's smile when she sent him money for school, of Vexthar's promise that she was not alone. The galaxy was cruel. It took and never gave back. But Hana had learned something important in her time in space. As long as you were breathing, there was still hope. As long as you kept fighting, you were not defeated. She did not know that far away on Tartarus 9 something impossible was happening. She did not know that a Kryth warrior was tearing through prison walls with his bare hands. She did not know that Vexthar had meant every word of his promise. She did not know that he was coming for her. All she knew was that she had to survive 1 more day. And then another. And another after that, because somewhere in this cruel galaxy, someone had called her friend, someone had called her sister, and that meant something, that meant everything. Vexthar knew something was wrong the moment the distant star left orbit. The ship's engine sounded different, wrong. Then he heard the explosion through the walls of his cell in Tartarus 9. A guard came running past. The cargo ship that brought the Kryth just sent a distress signal. Pirate attack. Vexthar's blood went cold. Hana was on that ship. The guards threw him in his cell and left, more concerned about the attack alert than one prisoner. But Vexthar was not just any prisoner. He had been trained as a warrior since childhood. He had fought in 36 battles. He had led troops through impossible situations. And now the one person in the galaxy who had shown him kindness was in danger. The prison cell was designed to hold Kryth warriors, but the designers had made one mistake. They assumed a Kryth would be alone. They did not account for the pure rage and determination of a warrior with a purpose. Vexthar examined every inch of his cell. The walls were reinforced steel. The door was triple locked. But the ventilation grate in the ceiling was standard issue. It was strong enough to hold most species, but not a Kryth with 4 arms and claws designed to tear through armor. He climbed the wall using his claws. He ripped the grate away. The guards heard the noise and came running. But by then Vexthar was already in the ventilation system. He moved through the narrow tunnels, his large body barely fitting. The prison went into lockdown. Alarms blared. Guards searched everywhere. But Vexthar had studied the prison layout during his transport. He knew where the guard station was. He knew where they kept the equipment taken from prisoners. Most importantly, he knew where the shuttle bay was located. He dropped from a vent into the guard station. 3 guards were there, armed but not expecting a 7-foot warrior to fall from the ceiling. Vexthar moved like lightning. His 4 arms struck in different directions. Within seconds, all 3 guards were unconscious. He took their access codes and weapons. Then he moved through the prison, avoiding the main corridors. Other Kryth prisoners heard him pass and started causing chaos, sensing an opportunity. The prison descended into madness. Vexthar reached the equipment room and found what he needed. Then he made his way to the shuttle bay. 2 guards stood at the entrance. They saw him coming and raised their weapons. Stop or we will shoot. Vexthar did not stop. He was faster than they expected. He disarmed them both and pushed past. Inside the bay were 3 small shuttles used for transporting guards. He broke into one, overrode the controls, and launched before anyone could stop him. The prison's defense systems fired at him, but the shuttle was already through the storm barrier. Vexthar set course for the last known position of the distant star. As he flew, his mind focused on one thing. Hana needed him. He had made a promise. Nothing would stop him from keeping it. He found the cargo ship drifting in space, its hull damaged but intact. Vexthar docked the shuttle and forced his way inside. The ship was mostly empty. He moved through the corridors until he heard voices. He found several crew members hiding in the engine room. They screamed when they saw him. Vexthar ignored their fear and grabbed the nearest one, a small Quillen who was shaking terribly. "Where is the human cook? The female named Hana? The pirates took her," the Quillen cried. "They took all 3 humans. And others too. Where is your first officer?" the Thexian called Kor.
"In his quarters."
"He made a deal with the pirates. He told them about the humans. He is the reason they attacked." Vexthar released the Quillen and moved toward the officer quarters. He found Kor packing his belongings, planning to escape before anyone discovered what he had done. The Thexian looked up and his face went pale. You escaped? That is impossible." Vexthar crossed the room in 2 strides. He grabbed Kor and lifted him off the ground with 2 hands while his other 2 hands pressed against the wall, trapping him. "Where did the pirates take her?" Vexthar's voice was quiet, but it promised death. "I do not know. They just took her." "Please, I was just following orders. You traded her life for yours. You called her weak. You humiliated her, and then you sold her to slavers." Vexthar's claws pressed against Kor's throat. "Tell me where the Velkan take their prisoners." "The Zeta sector," Kor gasped. "They have a base in an asteroid field." "That is all I know, please." Vexthar dropped him. Kor fell to the floor, gasping. He would live, but he would carry scars from this day forever. Vexthar had more important things to do than waste time on cowards. He returned to the shuttle and set course for the Zeta sector. The journey took 2 days. Vexthar did not eat or sleep. He only thought about finding Hana. His instruments picked up the asteroid base exactly where Kor said it would be. The base was large, with ships coming and going constantly. Vexthar waited until night shift when activity was lowest. Then he approached, using the shuttle's stolen codes to pass through the first security checkpoint. He docked at a maintenance bay and entered the asteroid through a service entrance. Inside, the base was a maze of corridors and chambers. But Vexthar was a hunter. He followed the sounds and scents until he found the processing center. Through a window, he saw the cages. Dozens of prisoners waiting to be sold. And there, in a cage near the back, he saw her, Hana. She was alive, thin and tired, but alive. Relief flooded through him. Then came the rage. They had caged her like an animal. They had hurt his friend, his sister. This would not stand. Vexthar checked his stolen weapons. He had enough ammunition for a fight, but not for a war. He would have to be fast and precise. He waited for the right moment. It came an hour later when the guards changed shifts. Vexthar moved into the processing center like a shadow. He reached Hana's cage before anyone saw him. She was sleeping, curled up on the floor next to Yuna and Jiho. He broke the lock with his bare hands. The sound woke Hana. She opened her eyes and stared at him in complete shock. You came? I made a promise, Vexthar said simply. Then the alarm started. The guards had spotted him. Vexthar opened the other cages, releasing all the prisoners. Chaos erupted. The pirates tried to control the situation, but they were not prepared for a Kryth warrior in their base. Vexthar fought like a force of nature. His 4 arms moved in patterns too fast to follow. Every movement was precise, lethal. The pirates had weapons, but Vexthar had centuries of warrior training and a cause worth fighting for. Stay behind me, he told Hana, Yuna, and Jiho. We are leaving, now. He led them through the base, fighting off anyone who tried to stop them. Other freed prisoners followed, seeing their chance for escape. The pirates were overwhelmed. They had never faced someone like Vexthar before. They reached the docking bay where several pirate ships were parked. Vexthar chose a fast ship, broke through its security, and got everyone inside. As they launched, the pirates fired at them, but Vexthar was already through the bay doors and accelerating away. Inside the ship, Hana collapsed against a wall, her whole body shaking. Yuna and Jiho were crying with relief. Vexthar set the course and put the ship on autopilot. Then he came back to the cargo hold. Hana looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. You escaped from Tartarus 9 for us. For me, I told you, Vexthar said gently. You are under my protection. You are my Niratok, my family. I would cross the galaxy for you, small one. Hana stood and did something that shocked everyone. She hugged him. Her small human arms could barely reach around his massive torso, but she held on tight. Vexthar carefully wrapped one of his forearms around her, being gentle with his claws. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for keeping your promise." "Always," Vexthar replied. "You gave me food when I was dying. You gave me kindness when I had forgotten what it felt like. You gave me a reason to live. I will protect you for the rest of my days." This I swear. They stayed like that for a long moment. A human and a Kryth, a cook and a warrior. Two people who the galaxy had tried to break but who had found strength in each other. The stolen pirate ship flew through empty space, far from any Galactic Council territory. Inside, Hana, Yuna, Jiho, and Vexthar tried to figure out what to do next. They were fugitives now. Vexthar had escaped from prison. The three humans had been rescued from pirates. The Council would be looking for them. "We cannot go back to Earth," Yuna said quietly. "They will arrest us as criminals." "We cannot go anywhere in Council space," Jiho added. "We have no money, no papers, nothing." Hana looked at Vexthar. "What do we do?" The big warrior thought for a moment. "We survive. We find work where the Council does not look. The Outer Rim has many places that need help, but cannot afford Council prices. We can start there. But we are just a cook, 2 cargo workers, and—" Yuna looked at Vexthar nervously. "A wanted warrior. What can we do?" "We can do what others cannot," Vexthar said. "We can help people who fall through the cracks. People like us, so that is what they did. They renamed the ship Second Chances and started taking jobs in the outer colonies. Small jobs at first, delivering supplies to stations that were too remote for big companies, rescuing broken ships that were drifting in space, helping settlements that were attacked by raiders. Hana cooked and handled negotiations. She had a gift for talking to people, making them feel comfortable. Yuna and Jiho managed the ship systems and repairs. Vexthar provided protection and muscle. Together they made an unlikely but effective team. Word spread quickly about them. The human woman who had shown kindness to a Kryth. The warrior who valued honor over violence. People started seeking them out. Other outcasts joined their crew. First came Minho, a young Thexian engineer who had run away from his family's political expectations. Then Suyong, an elderly Quillan doctor who had been blacklisted for treating enemy species during the war. 2 human twins, Jihoon and Minjae, who Hana rescued from a labor camp. The crew of the Second Chances grew. They were all misfits, all running from something. But together they found purpose. They found family. Hana sent money to Taiyang whenever she could. She told him she was doing well, that she had found good people to work with. She did not tell him about the dangers. She did not want him to worry. 6 months passed. The Second Chances became known in the Outer Rim as a ship that helped the helpless. They asked for fair payment, nothing more. They never turned away someone who truly needed help. But their growing reputation eventually caught the wrong attention. Admiral Cross of the Galactic Council was hunting Vexthar. An escaped Kryth warrior was embarrassing. It made the Council look weak. She had been tracking him for months, and now she finally had a lead. She set a trap, a fake distress call from a colony under attack. When the Second Chances arrived, they found Council warships waiting for them. "This is Admiral Cross of the Galactic Council. You are surrounded. Surrender the Kryth warrior and the human fugitives, and the rest of your crew will be spared." Vexthar stood on the bridge, his 4 hands clenched into fists. "I will surrender. There is no need for the others to suffer." "No," Hana said firmly. She stepped in front of him. "We stay together. All of us. They will put you in prison, small one." "Or worse, then we fight," Hana said. She looked at the rest of the crew. "I am tired of running. I am tired of being told that I do not matter because I am human. That we do not matter because we are different. If they want to take us, they will have to work for it." The crew agreed. They had all found something precious on this ship. A place where they belonged. They would not give it up without a fight. The battle was fierce. The Second Chances was just 1 ship against 3 Council warships. But Vexthar's military training and Minho's engineering skills gave them an advantage. They used the nearby asteroid field for cover. They made every shot count. During the fight, Hana did something unexpected. She hacked into the Council's communication channels and broadcast a message across open frequencies. Her voice reached thousands of ships in the sector. "My name is Lee Hana. I am human. 6 months ago, I fed a Kryth prisoner because it was the right thing to do. The Galactic Council told me he was a monster, but he showed me more honor and kindness than most Council citizens ever have. Now they hunt us because we dare to be different, because we help people they ignore. Is this the galaxy you want to live in? One where kindness is punished and survival means abandoning your values? She paused, then continued. We are not criminals. We are people trying to survive in a system that sees us as less than others. If that makes us criminals, then I am proud to be one. The message spread like fire across the networks. People shared it. Colonies that the Second Chances had helped spoke up in their defense. Even some council citizens questioned why resources were being spent hunting a small crew that was helping others. Admiral Cross found herself in a difficult position. The battle was being watched by thousands. If she destroyed the Second Chances, she would prove Hana's point. She would look like a bully attacking the weak. She called off the attack, but she sent one final message. You have bought yourself time, human. But stay out of council space. If I see you again, I will not hesitate. The Second Chances limped away from the battle, damaged but intact. They had survived. More importantly, they had made their voice heard. The next months were different. Colonies reached out to them directly, offering support. Independent stations gave them safe harbor. Some council citizens sent supplies anonymously. The crew had become a symbol of something bigger than themselves. Hana stood in the kitchen of the Second Chances, preparing dinner for her crew. It was her favorite time of day. Everyone would gather in the mess hall, sharing stories and laughter. So different from her time on the distant star, where she had been invisible. Vexthar entered the kitchen, ducking through the doorway. The new navigation system is installed. So Young says we can leave for the next job tomorrow. Good, Hana said, stirring a pot. The settlement on Kepler-12 needs medical supplies. We can be there in 3 days. Vexthar watched her cook with quiet satisfaction. You have changed, small one. You are not the scared cook I met in that cargo bay. Hana smiled. You changed too. You are not just a warrior anymore. You are a leader, a protector, a brother to all of us. Because you showed me there was more to life than fighting and dying, you gave me purpose. We gave each other purpose, Hana corrected. That evening, the entire crew gathered for dinner. 12 beings from 8 different species, all sitting together. All equal, all family. Hana looked around the table and felt something she had not felt in years. Happiness. Real happiness. She thought about her journey. From Earth to cargo ships to pirates to here. Every hardship had led to this moment. Her communicator buzzed. A message from Taeyang.
He had graduated from university.
He had a good job now. He told her she did not need to send money anymore. He wanted her to use it for herself. Tears filled Hana's eyes. Her brother was safe. He had a future. Everything she had sacrificed had been worth it. Good news? Vexthar asked. The best news, Hana said. She looked at her crew, her family. I have something to say. For so long I worked just to survive. To send money home. To get through each day. But now I have something more. I have all of you. I have a purpose. We are not just running anymore. We are building something that matters. To Second Chances, Minho raised his cup. To family, Su-Young added. To the human who fed a monster and made him remember what it meant to be alive, Vexthar said, looking at Hana with respect and affection. To us, Hana finished. To everyone who was told they did not matter, we matter, and we are going to keep proving it. They touched cups and drank together. Outside the windows, the stars stretched endlessly. The galaxy was vast and often cruel, but somewhere in that darkness, a small crew aboard a ship called Second Chances was proving that kindness could still survive. That one act of compassion could change everything. That sometimes, the strongest bonds were not made through power or force, but through the simple act of sharing a meal with someone who needed it. Hana smiled, surrounded by her family. She had fed the galaxy's most feared apex predator, and in return she had gained a brother, a purpose, and a place where she finally belonged. The journey was far from over. There would be more challenges, more dangers, but whatever came next, they would face it together, and that made all the difference.